Hello, everyone. This is a warm welcome to another episode of Gayatri Dialogues on Women's Health. I am Swarnima Bhattacharya, and today I am so thrilled to welcome Mayuri Bhattacharjee from Dignity in Disasters. She's a menstrual health activist. She's a climate reality, leader, and she's also been associated with Global Shapers, which is an initiative of the World Economic Forum. Now, the context in which we are calling Mayuri today for this conversation is actually very special. So, firstly, Mayuri, congratulations on the huge milestone of working with the Assam government to institute the availability of period products for women in flood shelters. That is a huge change in policy. It's a huge on-ground change, and it came after lots of campaigning. So, congratulations for that. And we can't wait to hear more about how you went around doing this.
Thank you so much, Swarnima, for your kind words. And I believe in Alice Walker's words like activism is the rent we pay for living on this planet. And yes, this was a very special campaign because it was related very personally. I am from Tejpur in Assam. Floods have been a part of growing up. So, while being a menstrual health educator, when I heard the story of someone, a lot of women who went through the ordeal of not having any kind of facility in a flood shelter, let alone even a clean piece of cloth. It was very, I think it was the moment that I thought, okay, this is my time to do something. Now campaign is something, I think when you start it, there's a lot of
Yeah,
emotion in it.
there's, yeah.
And sometimes when we are in a state of emotion, maybe we always don't think very strategically. And I think I had the learnings of another campaign called Lou Watch, which I had run
Yeah.
back in 2014, talking about inclusive and accessible public toilet facilities in urban areas. And I knew what are the things I could have done
Yeah.
better to make it more successful. So I had launched this petition on a digital platform. And I mean, but you launch a petition, it has to be promoted, it has to be
Yeah.
talked about, and that's
Yeah.
what I realized that I had to do. I had to put myself out there.
That's right.
And some of the
That's
some of the things, I think, Swarima, if I may, if I talk about some of the best practices or
yeah.
something, I feel it's something even new campaigners also would face, is that it's very important to know about your subject. I mean, it's very
Yes.
important to know about your subject, what you're doing. I think by the time my campaign was over, I knew a lot about disaster management, and that's what
Yeah.
led to the next one. So I
Yeah.
think it's always good to read up always and do those things. And it's always good to learn about more people or organizations who can make it happen,
Yeah.
and collaborate with them. It's also very much important to know, I mean, let's say I was addressing it to the disaster management department in
Mm.
Assam, and to know more about the department, their initiatives. I mean, why would they say yes to my campaign? I mean,
Yeah.
they should have something like they feel, okay, there is a benefit for me out there. Now
Yeah.
I found in my case that they want the response, the disaster management response, to be gender sensitive. They have mentioned it in their manual. So my thing was, if you have these facilities in flood shelters, then your response definitely becomes gender
Yeah.
sensitive and responsive. And if you don't have it, it's not there. I mean, you want to have a gender sensitive response, but if you're not equipping your flood shelters with menstrual hygiene facilities, then yeah, there is a huge gap.
Yeah.
And of course, I think it's good to get the timing right. Like Women's Day is very near, so I had started my campaign before that. So it was a very good moment to leverage and rally around the cause, and also bring in
Yeah.
more people.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important. It's not a, I don't know, a tactic, but it's a skill that you have to develop. It's a lot of patience and perseverance, because campaigning
That's
takes a
right.
long time. Because
That's
my
right. I mean, yeah.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I was about to ask you this, that you said something very interesting, that activism is the price that we have to pay for living on this earth. And what happens is that what I want to ask you about, firstly, we would love to know a little bit more about this campaign, how it started. I mean, you already told us a little bit about what drew you to the gaps that were there, disaster management. But what we also would like to know is that what does it take to get multiple stakeholders who, and giving them a reason to say yes, it requires a lot of thoughtful communication, lots of education, of the people that you're speaking with, and many times there's a lot of resistance to it. And you said that it took 2 years. So firstly, what was this, like how did this campaign shape up to be? What were the how did you do some stakeholder management? And finally, what was the result? I know that the government endorsed this solution, but if you can tell us a little bit more about the solution and the origin of this.
Yeah, so how it started was during my field work. I had come across, like I said, women who spoke about their ordeal in these flood relief camps and shelters. And I mean, I realized that. And while we're talking about menstrual hygiene in schools, in Assam, and community centers, we are really missing out this part, which happens every year. I mean, floods happen every year in Assam, and there was not much being done from the government. I mean, there were NGOs which were doing some ad hoc pad distribution, mainly pad distribution,